All right, everybody, how's it going? It is Tuesday, October 10th, 2023, and of course, we just finished with week 5 of the NFL, so it's only natural, it's only the right next thing to jump into week 6 and go over our picks coming up. So, we have week 5. We have some bye weeks this week. We didn't do so great in week 5, though. We went 6-8. We had a real bad week. Everything just kind of didn't pan out. I think a lot of people had like a weirdly not so great week, but I think I had one of the worst. So hopefully week 6 we turn it around, we get things right. Here's our pick'em record, like we said. Oh, and as always, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Also, those things help the channel out. Make sure you leave your picks down below, or your thoughts on the video, your thoughts on how the season's going and all that. All those things really help the channel out, and it's kind of fun to see how everybody's doing. As I said, though, that's the last time we'll do that. Sorry for the YouTube stuff. It just kind of helps the channel out if you guys can like, subscribe, and leave your picks down below or whatever you want to do. So thank you very much. And yeah, so there's our overall record, 46-32. It was pretty good last week, and then we had this terrible week that just happened. So we're hoping that this week we turn it around and things aren't so miserable. Bye weeks this week. Last week, of course, was the Browns, Chargers, Seahawks, and Bucs. This week, it's just 2 teams, so there's 15 games we get to go over. It's the Packers and the Steelers that are off this week. So if you're a fan of the Packers, maybe you watch to see if one of the NFC North teams lose, maybe the Vikings. And then Steelers, you're in first place. Enjoy your time off. Can't believe the Steelers are in first right now. It's insane. Thursday Night Football, what do we got? Oh, yeah, we got this great matchup between the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 10.5 with an over-under of 49. The Broncos are coming off a tough loss to the Jets, 31-21, and the Chiefs beat the Vikings 27-20. Close game. The real question is, do the Broncos keep it close, or do they like get completely boat raced here? Because again, offensively they've been like a mixed bag this year, the Broncos, but like it's like their defense has been like their Achilles heel, and now they're playing against one of like the sharper offenses in the league, one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best. You know what I mean? It just seems like, especially since the Broncos can't really stop the run and the Chiefs are okay at running the ball this year, it just feels like this is just a setup to a slaughter. Now, the Broncos do play the Chiefs pretty well, so they might be able to keep it close, but I think that line is pretty safe. As always, the lines are from FanDuel. If you want to know where they come from, we get them from FanDuel. They're added like right before I do this recording of this video, so they don't really influence my picks. They're just added in, I like to see who the favorite is. We got an England game, 1 o'clock Sunday. Well, 9:30 a.m. England. It's at Tottenham Spur Soccer McGillicuddy Butthole Stadium or something like that. I don't know. They got long soccer stadium names out there. Or football. You know what's weird is they always say like football in America should be called hand egg or something like that, because it's like it's a play with your hands and it's an egg. And it's like, well, okay, your game should be called feetball, not football. 1 foot, you only play the game with 1 foot? Really? That's interesting. Why isn't it feetball? Or feet oval? Anyway. The Ravens take on the Titans in what could be one of the best games of the weekend. Ravens are 3.5-point favorites with an over-under of 40.5. The Ravens are coming off a tough loss to the Steelers, 17-10, and the Titans are coming off their own tough loss, 23-16 to the Colts. Division games are always a little bit weird and kind of hard to glean perfect information from, but with this game, it's kind of like for the Ravens, it's this continued problem of their offense just not looking good. Like Lamar's playing fine, but the receivers are dropping everything. There's a bunch of injuries that are still plaguing the Ravens, and for whatever reason, I just feel like the Titans are like this every other game team where they'll look really good one week, like they beat the Bengals, then they lose to the Colts. Now they're this massive underdog, and like it just feels like everybody's thinking the Titans might lose this one. It just feels like this is the kind of game they win. They're pretty good health. Their offense is starting to click a little bit, slowly but surely. I don't know. It's just due to the Ravens' health, the fact that their offenses looked really off this year, and the Titans looked okay. I'm going to go with the Titans. This game, I feel really weird. This was the hardest game for me to pick. I don't know why. Everything else just kind of came to me, Like this one, Washington takes on Atlanta. Atlanta, 2.5-point favorites with an over-under of 42. The Commanders lost a bad game to the Bears, 40-20. And the Falcons beat the Texans, 21-19, extending Desmond Ritter's weird home winning streak to they just don't lose at home. So that's why I picked the Falcons. I know you're never supposed to pick Atlanta, but when they're at home. It's like, dude, how do they win? It's like this magic curse that they have where they stink everywhere else except in Atlanta. It's like Desmond Ritter's monkey paw. He's like, I want to be a good quarterback just at home, though. And they made him a good quarterback just at home, though. So I'll take the Falcons 2.5. I'll take the Falcons 24-21. That feels like a pretty good one. I don't know. Commanders, I'm not impressed by. Their offense looks kind of bad and really, really streaky. And their defense you can't look like that against Chicago. They could not stop the run. The Minnesota Vikings take on the Chicago Bears in the who gives a shit game of the week. The Vikings are 2.5-point favorites with an over-under of 46.5. I'm still going to go with the Vikings, even though they just lost Justin Jefferson to IR for at least 4 games. We went over their games. The Vikings lost and the Bears won. While the Bears did look really good against the Commanders, I don't really know if I'm going to take them seriously. I have to see it for a couple games in a row, not just 1 or 2 games where they look okay again. Minnesota's looked all right. They've been losing a lot of weird close games to pretty good teams in like just embarrassing fashion, turnovers, and just shitting the bed. So I imagine they clean it up, look a little better here. But again, I may revisit this pick Saturday. But right now, I'm sticking with the Vikings. I don't really see how they'd lose. You could tell I'm not really sure about that Vikings-Bears game. It's such a who cares game. The Seahawks take on the Bengals. That'll be a good one. Bengals are 2.5-point favorites with an over-under of 46. Seattle's coming off a bye week. The Bengals are coming off a 34-20 win versus the Cardinals, in which they finally looked like they were back. Jamar Chase had a huge game. Burrow had a big game. They looked like the old Bengals. So due to that, the fact that their defense has actually been pretty solid all year long, looks like their offense is clicking back in and finally getting going. Seattle, I know they're coming off a bye, which is usually really helpful, but I don't know. I don't really like their defense this year. I feel like they've kind of, I know they're 3-1, but it's like, I feel like 2 of those games were meh opponents, and then they beat the Lions, who they just seem to always beat. Seems like Aaron Glenn's defenses just cannot beat the Seahawks. I don't know. I just feel like the Bengals will win a close game here. Especially if it was in Seattle, I might go with the Seahawks, but since it's in Cincy, I'm kind of leaning Cincy in this one. I like the fact that the Bengals seem to be back. And when they were back last year, they've just beat the hell out of everybody. So I'm going to go with the Bengals. Yeah, those are some pretty good 1 o'clock games. Ain't no way I'm doing bad this week. 49ers take on the Browns. The Browns coming off a bye. 49ers obviously beat the hell out of the Cowboys 42-10. The 49ers are favored by 4.5 with an over-under of 38.5. I don't really see this as like a blowout game because I think Cleveland's defense will kind of stifle the Rams or the 49ers offense just a little bit in this one, so I could see it keeping close. But ultimately, I think the 49ers defense will completely overwhelm the Browns' rather limited offense. Don't really know what's going on with Watson. If they have to play the rookie, it's going to be even worse. So I don't know. The Browns offensively just haven't been good to great this year, so I can imagine the 49ers super elite defense just completely irrelevantizing. That's not a word, but it's a fun word. The Browns. New Orleans takes on the Texans. That's a fun game. The Saints are 1.5-point favorites with an over-under of 41.5. Saints coming off a beating of the Patriots. That's embarrassing to say. 34-0. And the Texans lost a close one to the Falcons, 21-19. I'm giving the Texans one more game here. A little bit of love. New Orleans looked really good in their last game, so it's really hard to pick against them. But I think it's more along the lines the Patriots just suck ass this year. And then you've got Houston. I don't know. They looked all right. I don't know what happened against Atlanta. They kind of got like jumped and the Falcons were able to throw the football, which happens. And I think they get it together. Saints, I don't know. Should be a fun game. I like Houston though. Yeah, there's zero chance I was picking the Colts in this game. Jags are 4-point favorites with an over-under of 46.5. I think the Jaguars have a winning streak versus the Colts at home that dates back to 2014, and I'm not going to pick the Colts to win at home or versus to win in Jacksonville. They don't do that. Both teams are coming off a win. Jags, they're looking better and better each week, so I'm kind of liking them. I think that their defense will completely stifle the Colts offense. And again, it just seems like the Jags have this unbeatable winning streak in Jacksonville versus the Colts. Oh, wow. What a game of the week. Holy shit. Wow. Game of the millennium. Carolina Panthers take on the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins are coming off their win 31-16, and the Panthers got beat pretty bad 42-24 to the Lions. Dolphins are favored by 13.5 points with an over-under of 48. I'm stunned that the over-under is so low in that game. They should put that in the like 50s. That's some free money right there. Yeah, I got the Dolphins winning at least 35-17. They could score far more, like in the 40s, if they really wanted to, and they might. Yeah, the real question is, can Miami cover a 14-point line? And I think we all know the answer to that question. It's yes. All right, 4 o'clock games. We got a few to go over. Well, the Patriots take on the Raiders. Raiders are favored by 2.5 with an over-under of 46. Obviously, the Raiders are coming off that real bad loss to the Saints. And the Raiders beat the Packers, not the Raiders, 17-13. I'm going to go with the Raiders. They can actually play offense. They can do special teams. Our defense is pretty good in New England, so we'll probably stay in the game because of that, as long as we don't suck ass this week. The injuries to the Patriots season's effectively over. It's bad. Their offense is just real bad. The line can't block. They can't run the ball. It doesn't help Mac out at all. Give me the Raiders, unless the Patriots magically fix their offense. I hope I'm wrong, but all right. Here's the game that was flexed to 4:25 p.m. The big flex game. Lions take on the Bucs. Lions obviously coming off their win, like we discussed. The Buccaneers coming off a bye, so that's helpful. Lions are 3-point favorites with an over/under of 43.5. Feels a little low. I like the Lions in this one. I don't know if the Buccaneers are a real 3-1 team, or if they're kind of like a fraudulent, like early season jump people and kind of shock people to their record, then eventually collapse and come back down to earth. Don't know if that's them or if maybe that's the Lions, but I think that is the Bucs here. I feel like their only big win was against the Rams, and they won they barely pulled that game off against them or something like that. Whereas the Lions have played some decent teams in the Chiefs. They did lose that game to Seattle, but it was, they showed out. I don't know. This just feels like a game the Lions should be able to win. If the Bucs can win this game, it does kind of like make a statement. But again, it feels like the Bucs are one of them teams where it's like early season mirage more so than actually really good. So, but again, a win here would kind of prove everybody wrong and show them that they're not just like a mirage team, like people think they are. Lions are also just unreal right now. They're playing top 5 football on all sides of the ball. It's great. Good for the Lions. Could they be 5-1? Arizona takes on the Rams. Rams are 6.5-point favorites with an over/under of 42. Cardinals haven't been bad this year. They lost to the Bengals 34-20. Obviously, and the Rams lost to the Eagles 23-14. I don't know. I think the Rams have been pretty good this year, shockingly pretty good this year, despite what everybody might have thought. They'll have Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua both kind of warmed up and ready to go, getting more used to their roles in the offense with each other there. I think Kyron Williams will have a big game. So it's kind of like I think the Rams offensively can overwhelm the Cardinals defense, kind of like the Bengals did. I think the Cardinals will be able to stick around the game, not get blown out, but I think they'll ultimately just kind of come up a bit short in this one. Because again, the Rams are a little better than we thought they'd be this year, in my opinion. And they should get better now that Cooper's back. Eagles take on the Jets. Eagles are 6.5-point favorites with an over/under of 48. We've already talked about the games. Eagles coming off a win, Jets coming off a win, so we have 2 winning teams. I like the Eagles to win this. They may have played a lot of close games, but that just kind of proves that they're able to play in those games. They're able to play against just about anybody and take wins. Whereas with the Jets, I don't know. I feel like they got lucky. They were playing the Broncos, and the Broncos are really just a miserable football team. So, hey, you got to win who you win. But I think it was more or less the Broncos lost that game. The Jets didn't win. And then, of course, maybe if the Jets had Aaron Rodgers, this would be a different game, but I don't really see Zach Wilson beating the Eagles defense. Those are my 4 o'clock picks. All of them are going to be right. Oh, Sunday Night Football. What a game. The New York Giants take on the Buffalo Bills. Bills are favored by 14 with an over/under of 45. This is just about as bad as the Patriots, the Giants are. I think we're the two worst offenses in the NFL. We're worse, though. We're going to get the better pick than the Giants. So it is what it is, Giants fans. The real question is here, does Buffalo cover the 14-point spread? And I say yes. Again, maybe defensively they'll keep themselves in this game, but the real problem for the Giants lies in the fact that they don't have an offense. You know, kind of hard to win games when you can't stop nobody. All right, what are we, Monday Night Football already? Damn, we got through these games quick today. Cowboys take on the Chargers. Cowboys are 2.5-point favorites with an over-under of 49.5. I didn't really provide the best analysis to any of these games this week. But that's all right. That's all right. Cowboys coming off a bad loss. Chargers coming off a bye. I like the Chargers off a bye at home. I just don't really know what the hell the Cowboys are. They'll look bad. They'll look good. They'll look bad. Like, it's kind of like are they a streaky team? Are they inconsistent? What are they? This could be the Kellen Moore revenge game where he comes back and tries to have a huge, like, big win against the Cowboys. I just don't really trust the Cowboys defense. I don't really know what their offense is going to do this week. You know what I mean? It's just, we don't know what version of the Cowboys are going to show up. And I feel like the Chargers could take advantage of that at home. Not much of a home advantage, but there is something there. Let's see. Yeah, that's about it this week. We went through that real quick. But again, a lot of these games just like let's see. This game didn't really need much. Well, this game needed something. This didn't need any real analysis. This really didn't. We kind of talked about this for a little bit. Like, what are we going to say about this game? Who cares? We talked about this one. You know, a lot of these games just feel like foregone conclusions, especially because, like, the Patriots don't have an offense. Lions versus Bucs is going to be pretty good. This game, you know what I mean? All the matchups just seem real obvious. So outside of another huge upset week, it feels like things are rather straightforward this time around, which is always a troubling sign. It's always a troubling thing. But hey, we have to beat that 6-8. Hopefully we do better this week. I appreciate you guys watching, listening, helping the channel out with all the likes and the subscribing and the comments you've left. Thank you very much. Make sure you continue to do so if you want to. And yeah, that's pretty much that for week 6. Down the drain, down the hatch. We got another picks video out of the way. Yeah, that's pretty good. I appreciate you guys. Have a good rest of your day, night, mid-morning, mid-afternoon. That time between like 9 and 10 p.m. where it's like, is it late evening? Is it still early in the night? I don't really know what time. Just have a good rest of whenever you listen to this. All right. Peace out. Go Lions, go Tigers. And of course, it's always go Patriots, even if they suck. Yeah, that's about that. All right. Let's see if I can move this with my mind. Oh, shit. Click. Hey, click.